Yeah, I grabbed the old one.
Honestly, that seemed a little different than normal.
Yeah, I need to remove that one so I don't grab the old one, but that's okay.
We're just testing people just to see if they were paying attention. Right?
No, that's okay. But yeah, I got to remove that one so I don't, because they both say the same thing, 5-minute countdown. So
that's funny.
Anyway. Oh, well. Hey, it was nice to kind of see that one because he had the whole behind the cache says, yeah, take that out. Gee, I wonder why he would say that. He's the one that made the new one, which is perfect.
All that work. He's like, no, come on. I did all that work for that.
Yeah, I know. He did all that work to make it, and then I just left him in the lurch. So that's okay. Special thanks to the Travel Bugs for the music and our featured patrons, Holo Yusi, who's tearing it up on the challenge board. We'll look at that here in a minute. Adair MD.
But we'll talk about that.
Yeah. Adair MD, Semmels 123, Chaos in Motion. The Bruce Zero, he is Cache the Line. He was over in Scotland at the Aberdeenshire Mega, so looking forward to hearing about that. O0 Riddlin Kid 0O, Florida TB Hunter, The Caching Dead, New York, Nakul, UDAC, and our new patrons, RCap Brain, S. Seiler, Terraviators, Coon and Bud, Motorama, which still sounds like it should be a roller rink somewhere, but anyway, they probably don't like me saying that, but anyway, I like it. Motorama, Kim Elisa, Bloody Cool, Traveling Geek, Life is a Horse on a Boat. I'm sorry, I didn't read that right. Life is a horse is one person, on a boat, another person.
You're going to get hate mail if you keep combining them.
I know, but it's so fun to say. Okay. JR and Juju, Team G Winchester, Oil Bear 125, Boo Boo _1, Boo Boo 1, I just say that. Kitty Catch, Finlay, and his Drudge. That's his dog, by the way. Seabeck Tribe. I think they're up in the northwest, up your way, Emily. Shark C, Curious KDB, Gene Hunter, the Caching Jeeper, and Fam Gustafson. Gustafson. Yes, I can speak. Yes, I can speak.
Are you sure?
Not really. Gustafson. If you'd like to become a patron and have me butcher your GC name, head on over to patreon.com/geocache talk for more details. Patrons get the new blackout coin.
Oh,
look, Emily's got hers. She was ready.
somebody stole mine. Where'd it go? Oh, that's the green one.
Oh, we got the green one.
Ooh,
that's good.
I'm gonna have to report a robbery. I can't find mine.
Okay. No, wait, here it is. Oh, never mind.
There it is.
Other geocaching items during the year, as well as bonus content like a geocaching.com leaderboard exclusive to Geocache Talk patrons. Nobody else in the world has this. Invites to special events. I guess that's sort of a special event. It's only for patrons. Support levels start at as little as Bison Tube level, which is $3 a month. Let me welcome my co-host, Jesse.
Good evening.
Let's jump right into show 161 for August 11th. So we welcome Emily Dinsmore McConathy to the show. Welcome to the Geocache Talk Show.
Thanks.
Did I get your name right? Did I mess that up?
No, it's perfect.
Oh, good. See, I did something right.
Things.
Yes. I got a name right. Emily Rene is her GC name, in case you're wondering. And we are going to talk about a lot of cool things tonight. But before we do that, we're going to do some news. See, Jesse, I didn't skip the news tonight.
I know. There's all kinds of stuff going on, too.
Like I did last week, where I just blew right through the news. So there's a new blog post. In fact, let me kill this screen. And let me bring it up because it's really cool. As I do that, let me mention that Geocaching Janji does our blog. She's our blog manager, and she does a fantastic job, much better than Jesse and I could ever do.
Oh, yeah.
Is that a good way to put it?
That is a very accurate way to put that.
Yeah. So let me share this screen real quick. I don't need audio, but I do need to do the blog page. And I'll leave us up at the same time. So if you go out to geocachetalk.com/blog, you will find the newest blog. It's about geobloggers on geocaching blogs. Isn't that funny? So done by geocacher Ken, and of course Janji helped out on that one. And whoa, let's skip the July 5th one and move on.
That's some goofy guy that wrote that one.
Best cache he never found. That's kind of interesting. So gotta go read that one. Memphis Mafia did that one. So
that's another instance where I got in trouble, so we can skip past that one.
So anyway, a lot of cool blog posts. So go check that out. We're very excited always to have Angie taking care of that for us. So
oh yeah, she's a rock star.
She is. So don't forget the store is still up. geocachetalk.com/store. I sold one of these this week. Not this copy. This is the Gary copy.
That's the Gary copy. It's marked. Don't ever play him with that copy. He's cheating.
It's cheating. Yeah, these are marked cards. No. It is. I don't know. We've had fun. It comes with a card. It comes with the instruction card. The rules. Thumbs the rules. And it's got all the cool things to do.
It's definitely the most fun geocaching game out there.
Thank you.
Not geocaching, obviously included, but game about geocaching.
Yeah, it's got some twists and turns. Where did the card go? It's got some stuff that happens during the game that's not fun when the cache is missing.
Mm-hmm.
That's never fun. But once in a while, you might get a gadget card, which that really helps you when you're playing it. There's a video out on geocachetalk.com if you want more information. It's designed to be designed to be played like an event. If you go to an event every week, that's a good idea to have something like that. If you go to a mega, you can crack this open and have some fun playing the geocache game, GC World. So
Yeah, I do that too. I want to have a event, a geocaching game night.
there, she's got one. Look at that.
That's a good idea.
Way to go, Emily. See, look, I'm gonna solo show it again, Emily. There it is. She's got a copy. Also the game, or not the game, the oh, you got it. He's got one. Yeah. I still have some of the glasses. They're available.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and of course the shirts. And we'll move on. Enough self promotion for the show.
That's right.
There's the shirts.
We're gonna butcher everybody's name and then self promote for the next hour.
Self-promote for the next hour, right?
The show. That's it.
We'll go through. No, okay. Okay. We moving on to that yet? Not yet.
Yeah. So let's save that next one for the end.
Yeah, let's save that.
All right.
We'll do their leadership board at the end. Adventure Labs. Did you guys notice that if you update your Adventure Lab, you will see that there's now a map.
I did not know that. I did not know that before you put it in the notes.
Yeah, Adventure Labs has a map now. Is there some up your way, Emily?
There's one in Portland and then the rest in Seattle.
Okay.
Which is minimum 4 hours.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how far to. I've got a few in the Fort Worth area. Obviously, Woodstock, there was some. And there's one down in Austin that I'd like to do sometime. But the map's really nice. It updates really nicely and shows you where things are, and you can go out quite a ways before you can search. Did you get yours?
Yeah.
Do you have one near you?
A new set coming out near me, so I can't wait. On International Geocaching Day, I have a new set coming out.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Well, not near me, but I mean it's near enough. It's an hour or so, maybe an hour and a half for me.
No, to me that's close.
That's close enough. I'll drive down and get Adventure Labs.
Yeah, I drive.
Oh, you know what? I'm still waiting to see if those show up as any points on our leaderboard.
Yeah, I bet you it doesn't.
But we don't know until we do it, right?
No.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe they're 1,000 points apiece. Who knows?
Oh, Tom's saying there's going to be some new ones in Northeast Texas soon. Cool. We've got coming up. We have our roundup coming up. Texas roundups coming up. That's probably might be related to that. So
I guess the question is: has anybody found any Adventure Labs since the leaderboard started?
Yeah,
Kendall
mentioned, there's 50 in Little Rock. Yep, I'm planning on doing those. Kendall, I got that on my radar to go visit when we go to Little Rock.
Oh, Burnt Turtle said he logged some in West Bend, 0 points.
Yeah,
so
we've
on the leaderboard. I didn't think they did, but you never know. It's been kind of experimental. So,
yeah, UDAC mentions that there's only one in California right now, but she appreciates that there's a map for that. I agree.
Yeah, and we knew they were going to come out with that eventually, right? They're rolling it out. It's definitely the app has definitely improved the experience of those Adventure Labs.
No, I agree.
The site that we tried to do that one time down in Texas, that was not good.
Oh gosh, yes. Before the app, have you used the app yet, Emily?
No, just other than looking for them around me. So hopefully at Going Caching.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
All of us will be at Going.
Everybody on the show tonight going to be at Going Caching. It seems like.
Yes.
Look at that.
Yeah, you guys will be there you'll be there for the whole thing. I'll only be there toward the end, but at least I'm going to make the trip down. So, but yeah, it's but lab caches, and this will come up next week when we do our top 12. cache types, but I mean, I look back on that, Jesse, it was a really fun time. I mean, I really enjoyed you and I doing the.
Oh yeah.
We kind of we didn't really we kind of we didn't trick the system, but we used the fact that you can add a waypoint to a cache as an advantage because we took a random cache and added all the. This is back.
You're not shocking anybody that we cheated by using Cachely.
We didn't. We
hacked it by using Cachely. So
we hacked it. Yeah. We didn't. Yeah. We still had to find them, but we made it easier to have them in front of us than trying to use the website. That's what we're trying to say. That's way before the lab thing was available and all that, but it made it easy to get from lab cache to lab cache. Obviously, we still had to find all the answers, but
yeah,
that's a good idea.
Bounce is gonna be down there. Cool, man. That's a trip. That's a trek for a lot of you guys down there. All the way up in the northwest part of the.
Totally worth it.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Good. Yeah, because you've been before, right, Emily? You said it was.
I went for a day and a half 2 years ago, and that made me know I have to go to the whole thing.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Sweet.
That's awesome. All right. So next, trackables. Tell us about trackable there, Jesse.
Yeah, so this wasn't anything big, and I know we're going to have a trackable show coming up in a few weeks. But I got an email this morning. It was just one of those nice surprises. Somebody actually did a picture and they dropped off one of our trackables, and it's one that we put like a dollar store toy on years ago, and it's gone all over the world. And it was being dropped off in Netherlands. I think it just came from Germany, and it's got like 60,000 something miles on it. And I never thought it would go more than like a month. It was one of the dog tag, the old dog tags with the thing on it. And we dropped off a couple of them, and we each had one 6 years ago, and we dropped it off.
Wow.
And it's been, for some reason, they have taken that thing. People like that one. It's a little ninja, and there was two ninjas, and they had stories together or whatever. But it's got a ton of miles on it, and it just, every once in a while, it shows up, and people have moved it. And it was just neat that people are putting pictures on it and stuff like that. And we pulled up the map. It's just one of those neat surprises every once in a while when you see those, and it's not like, oh yeah, that's right, that one's missing again. But it was a neat little surprise. I was pretty happy about that.
Oh, that's very cool.
Oh, the CFO is right off screen. She said we dropped it in St. Martin, so it's made it when we were on a cruise.
Wow.
Made it all over the place. That's pretty cool.
That is very cool.
That's always good when you get a good surprise in the email. Not, hey, it's missing. It wasn't in this cache.
Right. Did y'all have a bomb scare up there?
No. I was catching up on some of the I usually binge all the other podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how recent it was, but I think one of the recent the geocaching podcasts, they were talking about it like they hadn't heard one in a while, and I just happened to get that same email, so I don't want to go into that because I think it's already been covered. But so I actually clicked on the story and read it.
Right.
It's like in a fence post, and it just, we had a lot of bomb scares for a long time. Everybody covered them, and we haven't had them in a long time. I thought, because I worked with the police departments, that we had stopped thinking that people were blowing up fence posts.
Right.
Like, I don't think that's a terrorist watch list thing. Right. I don't know why. And this article kind of made fun of it. The guy was like, we got the call, so we had to respond, but it was nothing. Obviously, it was a game. So, but I mean, at what point are we going to go? Somebody probably is not trying to blow up this fence post on the side of a dirt road in the middle of the country.
Right.
Maybe getting a little bit paranoid. I know things are going on, and we don't talk about that on the show, but maybe a little too paranoid when we think that camo container in a pill bottle is blowing up a tree or something with no value on it. Maybe we don't do that. Maybe we calm down a little bit.
I agree.
I just thought it was funny, and I actually read the story, and the law enforcement that responded to it kind of had a good sense of humor about it. So that was good. At least we're not making those news headlines every single day anymore. So
yeah, very true. Oh, Curious Girl had a comment. It was kind of interesting. She said her blackout coin has gone 12,000 kilometers and is currently in Belgium. That's pretty cool.
Wow, that's very cool.
That's cool. We love hearing those stories. We love seeing the photos. I love seeing the different photos people put out of where they've taken the
yeah, people, they don't really make, well, I don't want to get into that now. It's for another show. We're talking about travel bugs coming up soon, but it's not the easiest thing in the world to do pictures. Yeah, that's right. For another show. And I may gripe about that a little bit when it comes to, because I like trackables, but it is nice when you get those pictures like that and they make it
Right.
miles.
No, I agree. And then, Mystery Museum ends.
Is today the last day for that?
Yeah, it ends today.
I thought so. Let's see. What's the actual official countdown on time? Let's see if I got
Oh, gosh. Well, it's Seattle time, right? It's whatever Emily's
It's
time
10
is.
hours remaining. 10 hours and 40 minutes remaining.
Yeah, because you can log till noon tomorrow.
Oh, you can? Okay.
You can kind of log whatever you did today.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not bad. That's nice they did that.
Well, did y'all both make it?
I made it last weekend, and then I drugged my mom around yesterday so she can make it.
Nice.
Yes.
Not even close.
We even had to go to the theater. So we cashed before the show, cashed after the show, got it done.
I have to admit that we did not make it. We got out. We did some testing for the leaderboard, and we weren't getting a bunch of caches, and we kind of just put that to the wayside. And we got to the last group of them, but got all the gems and all the other stuff, but we didn't make it to the end. And we were trying to go out and do the different virtuals and stuff like that around. So we should have just chucked it and finished it, but we didn't, and we ran out of time.
Yeah.
I always stress on the challenges because then I got to figure out where am I going to go? How am I going to get that many? So I like that there's tiers. And so you can still get 1, 2, or 3 if you don't hit all 4.
Right.
I think this was the best one they've done to date. This is the best promotion like this that they've done, I think.
I like
that I can think of in my time anyway.
Yeah. It was stressful because I couldn't plan ahead very well, I felt, with not knowing which caches had which attributes, but or which clues.
Right.
But
that was one of the best parts about it, I thought. Because it really made you look at them differently, and you couldn't just go out and just blow it out in one weekend. Or you could, but
yeah, we didn't plan. Yeah, I liked, and a lot of people didn't like, but I kind of liked the idea that there was some things you had to do, as far as you had to do them in sort of a certain order. You couldn't jump ahead.
Mm-hmm.
You had to get the first one, then you had to get 3 of the other, So there was several things that you had to do that was...
Yeah, it definitely made it more than a numbers count.
Right.
Yeah.
It wasn't just find this and get points, but...
Yeah, no, I think it was pretty good. I mean, they had a good story behind it too, and they did those little promotional videos with Geocoin, and I forget what Rock Chalk's. Did he had a different name on there?
Yeah, I don't remember it.
Geocoin was the best one, right? Because they had they did the little videos and they did the story behind it. I mean, how much story can you make to
right? The Dinsmore Museum. That's great.
Yeah,
I thought it was well done. I really did.
Yep. They did a good job.
I say that knowing I didn't even finish it, so that's terrible. But it was one of the best ones, but still. Hey, life interferes with geocaching sometimes.
It does, yeah. But it was a lot of fun doing that. But I didn't. But yeah, you don't have to complete it to enjoy it. I enjoyed it for the time.
No, we enjoyed it a lot. But okay, now we've stalled enough. Let's talk about the leaderboard. You gonna pull that up?
Yep. And the leaderboard, dun, 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 dun. There it is. We have
I don't know if everybody can see it or not, but
we have a new leader.
A brand new leader, and we heard he gave us all fair warning that he had a road trip plan, and he jumped up to 10,945 points.
Yep, he broke
our guest from last week. That's pretty. That's a pretty impressive jump from where he was. He jumped in front of Holo Yusi. I don't know.
The first 5 digits.
Yes, he sure is.
He did a hashtag 5-digit thing earlier, but yeah, he traveled across the country. I don't think he's all the way to Boston yet, but yeah, very cool of him. I'm wearing my Boston shirt wearing my
there you go.
Shirt. Right there, yes. People are enjoying it, I think. I mean,
there's a lot of movement on it, which is what's really interesting. It's not like 1 or 2 people took the leaderboard. I mean, the top 10 has been generally the same people that have been killing for the top 10. But the top 2 changed a little bit.
Here I need to refresh. I'm refreshing. Oh yeah, he's at 13,000 now.
Nice.
Still going up.
Yowza. He's on the road. Yeah.
One of the interesting things is we found a few caches this weekend, not much, right? But we're at right over 1,000 points. But that's 31 places down the leaderboard. That means people are really just cranking it out there.
Yeah.
We're close to being in the top 10 or top 25. So I think people are really getting out there and playing. And it's fun to see how people are strategizing things and doing geo arts or trackables or whatever what everybody's doing. It's the interesting strategies out there are pretty fun to watch.
Yeah.
My goal is just to beat one specific person I know here semi-locally. So, and he knows it.
See, there you go. And that's where I think they're going in the future. That's our guess of where they're going in the future with this is being able to select, like, this is a smaller group than you normally do, but being able to select your own kind of teams. So you can do that locally if you wanted to, or state versus state if you had two groups that you want to do. So I hope that's where they're going with it. Now they're trying to do that. So I hope this gives a lot of good.
I got to mute you for a minute, Jesse. Somebody's either mine or somebody's.
Yeah, what is that?
I don't know. Let me try. Oh, it was Emily's. Sorry, Emily. I had to kick you out for a minute. You got something working there sound wise. I don't know what it is, but let me bring you back in now and see if that helps. It's not. No, we got some
sound problem. Yeah.
I can hear my computer.
Oh, is it making noise on you?
Making noise. I'll try to give it some air.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna mute you for a moment while we work on that.
Now, first of all, everybody in the chat room blamed that sound on me. So
they did.
It wasn't me, guys.
They didn't blame it on me. I like that. They just blamed it on Jesse.
I know, just straight to me, just straight to blaming it on me.
It's gotta be Jesse's. So yeah. She says Direwolf says just to whack it. So
yeah. But so anyway, I think the leaderboard is going really well. We're gonna have a lot of good information for them, and people seem to be having fun with it. So it's so far very good.
Yep. So yeah, like it's always Jesse's fault, no matter what it is. So yeah,
according to the CFO's philosophy, that is correct. So
I blame it on Jesse too. So yeah, you got to get that sound working. I don't know if you need to reboot, Emily, and come back, or
I'm gonna move.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, something happened.
That'll kill it.
All right.
There she goes. Just take care of it. That's one way to do it. Just kill it that way.
You hit it like the old TVs.
That works. All right.
Yeah. Udex said, did you try turning it off and turn it on again?
Yeah, Emily's just like, I'm just going to kill this. I'll just kill it. It'll be fine. All right. Okay. Let's get into the show further than we have.
The actual show, you mean?
Yeah. So Emily has done all 50 states, which is pretty incredible.
And fun.
Yeah. So let's kind of take the Wayback Machine back a ways. I think we talked about this when we did a little pre-show, but you started in 06?
06, January of 06.
Right. Same. You're about 6 months before I started was in 06 there, but it's very cool. So obviously you and I don't know, when's your first time you thought about it and said, oh, I think I want to do one in every state?
Well, I love the geocaching statistics. So I don't even remember what they looked like back then in 06, but somehow I knew that there were blanks on the map. So I saw that, and that was a huge motivation. And then just knowing, I lived in Pennsylvania, and so getting caches in every state out there is a semi-easy thing to do.
Right.
Not too far from a state line in any direction almost.
Sure.
So it was a really attainable thing that I could work on. So the statistics motivated me, and geographically I had an advantage to get going.
Cool. Yeah. No, that is very cool that you did that. And like you said, being up in Pennsylvania, you were able. So again, when you kind of began, you were able to gobble up some states, as it were, because you were right
quickly.
there.
I could get Maryland and Ohio and West Virginia, and it just quick, very quick. And I always had wanted to see all the states.
Sure.
And so it just instantly gave me something to work towards.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's funny is, and I'm sure a lot of people probably have the same situation that I had, which was I've been to a lot of states and didn't find any. It was pre-geocaching because I used to travel.
Right?
Yeah. Never. I still need to do Alaska, get up there at some point, but I had been to pretty much almost all the 48. Not geocaching, but working. I used to travel and install computers but you know, we'll talk later about where Jesse and I are at. We're not there yet, obviously, but that's really cool that you kind of, like I said, you were able to kind of get some of those. And then one of the things I want to do tonight also is people look at their stats, like you said, Emily, and they're going to be like, "Oh, I can't do that. They're just forget that stat. No, it's too much." And I think that's like anything. They look at something and they're like, "Oh, way too daunting." But
it's one step at a time.
It is.
That's all it is. Yeah.
And I liked how you broke it down in the show notes that you helped write, which are really good, and that we're going to talk about tonight, because I think you really laid it out. And so I want to encourage people later on to go back and to read the show notes that we're going to put up on the website later. But you really did lay it out really good. And so you really well, you talk about how you've kind of basically had a strategy. One of them was vacations. So tell people a little bit about what were some of your vacation plans that you did and how you sort of went about doing that.
Well, and not only that, so before you skip over it, when did you go from vacationing and caching to going caching, like picking caching first over picking the vacation? Because everybody has that transition, right? So
right. Well, fortunately, I'll go back when we honeymooned in Hawaii, and so that was a no-brainer. Luckily, by that time, I was in the mode of get a geocache wherever you're going, So I really don't have. Well, I have one regret. I went to London after geocaching. I had no idea. My GPS had North American base maps. I didn't know that meant you could use it anywhere. You just wouldn't have a map.
Right.
You use your GPS. So I thought you couldn't. You guys, I went to platform 9 3/4 where you can pose with Harry Potter's trolley that's cut in half and in the wall, and it was a virtual. So that's my only major regret is I could have had England. But anyways, by the time I went to Hawaii for my honeymoon, I was in that mode. So that was a no-brainer. Get it while you're there.
Right.
And then first anniversary, we went on a road trip through New England. And I'm thinking, I've never made it to New England yet in my life. I was 30 at that point, and do this, get geocaches on this trip. If you've never made it yet, do it while you're there. So those were just trips I wanted to do. We kind of knew when we got married. It took us about 3 years to move out to Oregon, but we knew we were heading out this way. So It was a matter of, I need to get geocaches in this place, in this half of the United States while I can. But yeah, I would say it was and then my move across the country, we drove our possessions, so that was a no-brainer. I was totally, addicted at that point. So, get every state on the move. So by the time I got over here to the East Coast and seeing the accomplishment, on the West Coast, seeing the accomplishment on the East Coast, that's when it began to be, I've got to do this because I can do this.
Yeah, you were like I think you said you were at about 30 when you started to head.
Yeah, 30 something by the time I moved to Oregon.
Right. So, like you said, that's quite a bit for to have already under your belt, as it were. UDAC was asking about your significant other. Does he geocache at all, or does he tolerate it?
No, he is a geocacher. Unfortunately, he's a disabled vet, and so he deals with medical issues.
Right.
So most of the time, I'm dragging my parents around, and they're good. They're great sports.
Yeah, your mom, you said, was you got her sort of hooked, I guess.
Yeah. She has started using the hashtag Emily Rene made me do it. For her.
That's funny.
That's awesome.
So as you started piling on the states like that, like you got to 30 and you really started doing the momentum, when you go to these new states, are you if you're just passing through them, do you just get one, or do you get a certain type, or do you have a backup? Do you have a strategy for that?
Always a backup. So, it only takes one. And there are a few states where I only have just one, but that doesn't equal the experience I had in that state.
Right.
So I went to college in Indiana. We would go to Michigan to go to the Great Lakes and, have fun every now and then. So I've had some great Michigan experiences. I only have one Michigan cache. We got it when we were moving cross country. The Indiana Turnpike, you can get off, drive into Michigan, get back on the Indiana Turnpike. Right. That's the only Michigan cache. But that doesn't mean anything.
Both of those states, so that works perfect for me.
So, but usually, yeah, I try to always have a backup, but enjoy it. I look at the caches that are available along the route I'm taking and pick the ones that seem more interesting. And yeah, I'll get the other ones too, but I aim for the interesting ones.
Yeah.
I love, of course, I go for the rare types, the virtuals, the webcams, if I can. They're just not everywhere.
No, it's true.
If I can buy them, yes, I get them.
Yeah. The Twonky, of course, has time to be here, produce TV shows, find 13,000
yeah.
And then also, to be in our chat room. By the way, Monday night, USA Network, you need to watch Straight Up Steve Austin.
That's right.
Looks like it's going to be a fun show. So anyway, the Twonky is in our chat room. He says he wants to do, missed it. He wants to get at least 2 per state. That's kind of cool. Hoping to get 100. Oh yeah, I'd love to do. Yeah, we'd love to do that. I'll do that.
So there's a challenge near us, and we're late in the game now, so we're way behind you on the states, right? But it's to get like 8 of the caching icon types in each state. We're trying to expand that now. So, and we've already got several states where we've only found one, so now we're trying to go back and get as many types as we can for all those states. But,
I would have some major revisiting to do. Yes,
unfortunately, yes. But I figure we might as well do it now, or at least as we're moving forward, and then we can go back and loop around.
Why not? Do what is interesting to you. This was what was interesting to me.
Right.
Absolutely.
I agree completely.
Some people may not want to do this. They may want to stay in their own state. They don't like to travel, so they have a different goal. You love traveling, and this is a perfect way to do it.
Right. But you're right. Now my vacations are 95% geocaching vacations.
It transitions at some point.
That's awesome. Yeah. So you did, and you mentioned some different major road trips you did, and these are kind of cool. So I wanted to really highlight them because I think that it's worth mentioning that like you said, you can make it memorable, you can make it fun. You can kind of approach it from the perspective of, that's the point. If you're not excited about your challenge, then really why are you doing it? Which we will get into that kind of items in 3 weeks, by the way, in case you're wondering. We'll talk about that later. Yeah. But you did a 4 Corners States trip.
Right. And I'll say about these 3 major trips, I didn't know what order they were happening. Like my plans were constantly changing, I'll say. I had these trips in mind based on the map of what I needed to fill in. So they just visually, the map inspired me on what kind of trip to take. But geocaching wise, the events inspired me. So I ended up going to the Four Corner States because of Woodstock.
Right.
That year I did that trip for that reason, or else I probably would have gone down south first.
Sure.
So yeah, major events have influenced my trips.
Right.
That one was one of the easier ones because I could start out from home and drive the whole trip.
Yeah.
Fun fact, my dad and I got T-boned for that trip. And so we had to switch our plans, take their car, my parents' car instead of mine, but just a side note.
So somebody asked in the chat room, what's the most states you've done in one day?
Cache
Nick.
I did 5 in one day down in Arkansas, Missouri,
like Oklahoma, maybe.
I don't think Oklahoma was that day. I have stats up. I don't know if I could get it real quick.
Might be in your stats, yeah.
Yeah, I know it is in my stats. I just have to.
In fact, it's on your cacher stats on Project GC. I know that for a fact.
That's true. It is on your cacher
on the front page of that stats.
I have been there and seen ours to see.
Not that any of us get obsessed with statistics at all.
No, of course not. Yeah, you two.
Or spend hours looking at your own stuff. I mean, no, we don't do that.
No. There we go. It's Arkansas, Illinois, Missouri, Tennessee, and Kentucky.
Oh, cool. That's cool. And then somebody else asked about, Bonmood asked about what did you do for Alaska? I think you went on a cruise?
Yes, that was my grand finale. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to hear all about that one.
We'll talk about that one here in a little bit. Because it's interesting, you would think her 49th state might have been Hawaii, but it wasn't. And we'll talk about which one is 49th because it's kind of, I think it's a little unusual that
I do too. Yeah.
You're 49th, but so yeah, you did the Four Corner State trip. Was Woodstock, you found Mingo, did some other things. What's cool is that you got through the Four Corners without having to deal with some Yahoo that made a virtual there that I don't think anybody really wants to.
Excellent, high favorited virtual. What were you saying?
It probably does.
Go back.
4 of them in the same federal area.
That is cool.
States.
I will give you that, Jesse, that it's cool that you got, well, not you, but you and 3 other people have virtuals. You could get 4 virtuals standing in one spot, right?
Yes, actually you can. Yeah, you can stand in all 4 states at once. So you can get virtuals in 4 different states at one time. You can.
That's true.
It wasn't me. That's somebody's sock puppet account. I don't know what you're talking about.
Some random.
I would never engage in such shenanigans. So it's
That's
not
true. All right. Well, tell everybody also about your trip, Montana, North Dakota, and Canada, because we do have a lot of international listeners, and so I think I think sometimes they're curious to hear about our crazy.
Yeah. So I know how to blow up my own plans. Big.
Ruining your own plans.
I blow up my own plans.
We've all been there.
That was supposed to be a North Dakota and Montana trip because those were the only 2 hanging out there. How do I get to them? But again, just staring at the map. If I'm bored, I go to the maps and I just look around and I could envision what I could do in a big loop. So we flew to Calgary, rented a car. We drove over to the edge of Ontario, just got 2. But again, I've spent time in Ontario before, just pre-geocaching. So I just needed to get it on the geocaching map. And then we dipped down into North Dakota and Montana and back up to Calgary. So I think that was the first trip where I had to fly and rent a car to get my goals met.
Okay. Yeah. I know that Lady Black Cat and Carrot Killer here, when they finished the Texas County Challenge, they actually flew to El Paso and did counties over in El Paso area, but because Texas is a crazy state. But I do want to point out somebody's here. The geocaching vlogger is in our chat room.
Welcome.
Crazy.
In
He's
Brazil?
on location from Brazil. Yeah.
Nice.
He's there with Daniel and joining the show from Brazil. So thank you, my friend. We would love to hear more in the future about Project Ape for most people, it's the only one they refine, but there's two and they have found both of them. So anyway, all right. So let me ask you about, and then you got to meet Angie while you were at the.
Yes. So I knew her from Instagram. By the way, I love Instagram. The geocaching Instagram community is just amazing. I enjoy it. I enjoy going to megas and people spot me and they're like, Emily Rene, or they butcher my name, and that's okay. And I'm like, I don't know you, but it's good to get to know them then in person. So side note, I love Instagram, geocaching on Instagram.
Yeah.
So I knew of her. So I knew she was in North Dakota. I reached out because I believe this was I don't know if it was end of May. So I was just curious about the weather. And that just some simple questions turned into she had an event, a meet and greet for us. So I got to meet Angie on the trip. That was wonderful.
That is so cool. Yeah.
That is, Gary and I have said that many times. That is one of the best parts about geocaching. If you get to travel at all, you get to meet people, instant friends everywhere.
It's great. That is how I made friends here. I had instant friends in Oregon because of geocaching.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if they're not a geocacher, can you really hang out with them for very long?
That is exciting.
Obviously, don't have good taste. No.
Yeah. So this is the beauty of the new system is I can go bring up the screen. So there they are.
Oh, look at that. There's your picture right there.
So
and interestingly, a gal from about only 2 hours away from where I live in Oregon showed up for this event. So,
oh, really? How funny.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. So very cool.
Yeah, and these trips are, I try to combine of course, the geocaching, but throw in the things that are interesting too. And one of the neat things I've gotten to do on my big trips was visit. So my maiden name is Dinsmore. So visiting Dinsmore, Saskatchewan on that trip. I visited Dinsmore, California on my 4 states trip because we came home through California.
Mm-hmm.
And we visited Dinsmore, Florida on my South trip. So
that's very cool.
Throwing in, it's not all geocaching, it's I fill it up with everything that interests me, but geocaching leads the way.
Yeah, that's just so cool though that you were able to do that. So yeah, so you did a 12-state South and Midwest trip. You needed 9 states, and your parents needed more.
Yeah, I don't remember their count, but they needed more than that. I made sure to get them every state they needed to. I'm not about to let them go through a state and not get a cache.
Right. There you go.
Are they working on getting all the 50 states as well?
No. On that note, just in March, we went to the Philadelphia area. I had a niece born in June.
Yeah.
So I made my mom. We drove to New Jersey. We got her first New Jersey cache on the baby shower trip. So
there you go.
She probably wouldn't have done it if I hadn't made her.
That is so cool, though.
Yeah.
All right. So then, on the South and Midwest trip, some of the things you did, I think were really that I want to ask you about. You get to visit Dinsmore, Florida. That's kind of cool. Did you realize how many Dinsmore cities there were?
It's interesting. There's not many. And you know what? The one I haven't been to is Dinsmore, Pennsylvania.
Oh, and you're
yeah, and where I'm from, right?
Funny. Oddly enough, there's a challenge in Texas for finding caches in 3 different cities of the same name.
Oh, I would qualify. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's. I didn't. Can you do that kind of cache?
Oh no,
challenge?
No, you can't do that anymore. But it's an old one, and it's I believe still around. So
yeah, there's some crazy. We've talked about before, and that's for another show. Talk about some of the crazy. There was one you were working on. I want to get on a sidetrack, but you were like, remember that one we were talking about? It was like you had to find one every Tuesday or something You had to find.
Oh, there's a bunch of silly ones. There was
in
one
caches on a Tuesday.
find one with names that mean something like die or death. I'm like, something like that? What do you?
Talking about? Yeah, that doesn't sound good at all.
I would say there's enough crazy ones we could fill a book with it, but that would be too cheesy. So I won't say
Yeah,
that.
that would be to be cheesy, but yeah. So
That was terrible. I was missing Zach. I had to do the puns.
right, New Orleans, St. Louis.
Yeah. So and I'll say this too. My parents are great sports. You gotta whoever you're with, don't dictate the trip, So I really tried to make the trip enjoyable for all of us.
Right.
But, so we would cache for a day, travel for a day, and then do a day in Savannah, and then we traveled and we did a day in New Orleans. But then these places have amazing caches. So Savannah has a hop on, hop off trolley.
Oh, cool.
Everywhere we were hopping off, there was a virtual or really well done cache, So, and then New Orleans has great virtuals throughout the French Quarter. So we did the really neat things, but of course the geocaches are everywhere.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
can easily overtake a family vacation if you're not careful.
It can. You have to. And my problem is stopping to eat. I get hungry, but I really don't want to spend any time eating.
She just wants to keep going.
It's in the way.
Jesse, it's like, yeah.
Daylight,
You just got to pack your lunch with you and bring it with you.
Oh my, yes, this is so true. And is there actually a cache? One of my favorite shows is American Pickers. Is there an actual cache there at the Antique Archaeology?
There's a cache on site. They have an old Nash, and there's a cache in the Nash.
Cache in the Nash.
Still there. That's incredible. I want to go there because, like I said, I've watched every episode. Susan can tell you she'll leave the room usually to watch something in another room because she gets tired of me watching it. But I haven't watched much lately. But I binge watched season after season of American Pickers. But yeah, if you've seen at least one episode, you've seen the Nash because it's usually in the opening. So yeah, see, Ryan's got that one. Way to go, Ryan. Way to take me along, buddy. Oh, the Funky's got it. Yep. Thanks, guys.
Well, Gary, I don't have it, so I'll go with you.
All right, you can come with me. Yeah, Neil's there again. So, well, crazy. Oh, it's Burnt Turtles is out there. He's only 5 miles from there. I didn't realize. Should have dawned on me that it was out there. But anyway, very cool. All right, so let's talk about Alaska because this is a interesting. People were asking about Alaska earlier, so let's talk Alaska. Let's talk Alaska, or should we talk Missouri first? You want to talk Missouri?
Sure. So I have a 49th geocaching state and a 49th visited state. So when I was moving cross country, I was relatively close to Iowa. It was before smartphones. I did my very best to use a McDonald's Wi-Fi, and is it worth going down to Iowa, to find, I just couldn't find a cache to get to on that move in Iowa. So, but on this southern trip, we kind of went up into the Midwest a little bit.
Right.
And so it's like, I kind of spiraled the US. And so my 49th visited state turned out to be Missouri. And then at the end of the trip, when we were up in Iowa, that was my 49th cache state.
Right.
So, yeah.
The Missouri one, though, you had missed it, right?
That was Kentucky.
Okay. Kentucky was the one.
So we rode down to Texas from Pennsylvania once, and I slept through Kentucky.
Oh.
Yes.
Well,
that hurt for a while until we got to a road trip to Texas another time because I flew home, so there was no getting it.
Right.
Oh no.
So
that hurt for a while.
Pull up your state thing and there'd be a blank.
Blank.
Like, oh no, there's a blank.
Yes.
It happens to everybody. Happens to the best of us.
Yeah. So Missouri was my 49th visited state.
Yeah.
The deed was done, 49 states plus DC. And the plan was to go on an Alaskan cruise this summer, 2019. So the minute I got to Missouri, it was great, and it was also like, oh man, it's going to be 21 months until I get to Alaska. So that just seemed like such an eternity, but that was the plan. And I wanted to maybe fly to Anchorage and just get it done. I'm so glad. Well, not so glad. It would have been fine anyways, but I had an amazing Alaska experience. So we decided, my husband's health was great last summer, so we decided, let's go now. Right. So we booked a last minute cruise, if you will, 2 months in advance. And
pretty last minute.
Yeah, pretty last minute.
Yeah.
So and that was for our 10th anniversary.
That's cool.
And so the neat thing about that was it was 10 months to the month that I got Hawaii to Alaska and visited all the states in between.
Oh, very cool.
So all the states in 10 years is my statistic. Yeah.
That is very cool.
Yeah. And so our first port was Icy Strait Point.
Right.
And there are no caches there. So, yes, of course, I got to be in Alaska for the first time ever.
Yeah.
But, until you get that cache found and you secure the deed is done, it was a little stressful until we got to Juneau. And the first thing I did was get off the ship and get the cache that was right by our ship.
That's perfect.
Then I could breathe.
And then this is definitely something we can talk about on another show as well. Is you found a virtual with binoculars.
Yes.
I love that story.
Yes. If anyone's done an Alaska cruise, you might know about it in Skagway. There's a big painted cliff, and our ship docked right beside it. I got the virtual from our cabin balcony.
That is very cool. Isn't there an Earth cache that's like that too? Like you drive by one of them on the
Marble Islands, I believe it is in the name. Yeah, so I had to. That was a really early morning. They went into that area pretty early. I remember getting up something like 6 that day and having to really watch the GPS to make sure I could look. And again, I had to use my binoculars to look at the island, some of the features of the island. Yeah.
Wow, that is cool.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, BMars 7391 says, "Hi all, found one of Emily's going caching trackable cards yesterday."
Yeah, I went to Snowville in June on the way to see my new niece.
Oh, cool! They found your card.
Perfect,
Emily, that's cool. Yeah. Tom was asking about which one he wanted to do more. We got to do both, Tom. You've only got 48. You got to do both, so it isn't an and or, it isn't either or. It's a both.
Yeah, it's a both.
Yeah, that's. And then Sherry put, "I want to do both." Yeah, I want to do both too because that's
absolutely.
But that's just really cool. So,
Now, your cruise wasn't a geocaching cruise, though, right?
No, it was just a regular cruise. I geocached, and we got to take a side excursion up into the Yukon Territory, so I got to put that on my map as well.
Cool.
And our tour bus driver was great. He was all about the beauty of the area. He would pull over on unplanned stops and be like, "Guys, take 5 minutes here." And we were sitting at the front of the bus. And where he said, "Guys, take 10 minutes," was a cache that I hadn't planned to get. And so I ran off the bus. I ran into the trees. I know people were watching me. Nobody knew what I was doing. They were imagining what I was doing. Then I took a selfie with this water bottle that I found, But
right.
Yeah. So I was caching on that excursion that other people were just taking for fun.
Right. They're taking photos and you're grabbing caches. That's great.
Exactly.
I wonder if there's somebody out there that can pull up the stats somehow of how many people actually choose Alaska as their 50th state. It's got to be a lot, right?
Oh, yeah. It's got to be. You know, think.
And I never wanted it to be. It just happened.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Because like you said, for Susan and I, we honeymooned in Hawaii and found caches there. So it kind of, like you said, it kind of made sense well, actually, we went back, so it was an anniversary trip that we got caches for that. But that's the kind of thing we've done. So, like you said, we've already gotten Hawaii because we went back a few times, anniversary trips. And but yeah, so I guess in a sense, Alaska might very well be the last state we need. It may not be because we've got, and we can talk about it now. Is we've only got 27, so we're kind of low on ours. You're way ahead of us, Jesse. You're at what, 40?
Well, I was at 42, but now I'm at 41.
Yeah, you want to tell everybody real quick how that even could happen?
So I'm actually only at 41, but I was pulling up information for the show, and I always thought I was at 42, and one of them disappeared. And it turns out, after a lot of research, I found one. I totally forgot about it, but I found one that was one of those traveling caches, that was moving around, that they don't have anymore. It's already locked and archived and everything else now. But so that's where that extra weird stat came from that didn't show up. But when I looked back through and actually went through every state, it is only 41. And it is marked on my geocaching thing now as 41, but it shows up in weird states that I've done 42, which is not correct. So I still have 10 more because throwing DC in there too. But I think Alaska will end up being our 50th state as well, probably. Just because it's such a big trip to get up there. And
it is a little bit of more planning than just catching one across driving across to get to one. It's a little harder.
Well, we have to do the opposite. We got to go back out to the East Coast and get back
you need to,
the Northeast kind of and get those.
Yeah, I've got this weird kind of, for us, it's a rim of the country. I need west, some of the west. I've got like Washington, but I don't have like California and some of those. I need to get out there and do those. But I also got this weird rim along the top of the country. North Dakota. Sorry, North Dakota. Love you guys. Want to come up there and visit and find some caches up there. But like Michigan, and I've traveled all those. I've been to all those states. I just didn't find caches at that time. So Maine. I've flown into Maine for work, but didn't find a cache back then. That was before caching was around. So, but anyway. All right. Well, what is motivating Emily Rene nowadays? What are you up to these days?
Well, the first thing I did was get braces.
Yay!
I wanted to put the money into it. I wanted to travel.
Let me show Emily's braces. Yay!
So
look great. Good job.
I'm spending some money on my health. But like I said, going back to going caching, I knew I had to go back for that. And so, like I said, I can blow up my plans big. While I was making the plan, I thought, I wonder how far Homa is. I wanted to
not far at all.
And then I look, and they're having Geocoin Fest.
Yes.
Before. So now I'm going to Geocoin Fest, and then going caching. So, still just, there are geocaching opportunities, and people who put things together, like the Geo Tours, really have great things to offer. So I just keep looking at stuff like that, seeing what suits for the time. I've always been planning on next year, knowing they would do something up in Seattle. That's the plan. But one thing I need to finish is Oregon. I need, let me see, I need 12 DeLorme pages and 11 counties. Up in the east. So I just keep not doing Oregon because I've been doing all these other trips.
Sure.
So I need to visit more of my home state.
Yeah, that's cool. That's kind of like, that's what we did. We decided, seeing everybody finish it. And also I got Team D&D. Well, mostly David, not D. But David Vickery, he kind of looked at me one day and goes, "Why haven't you done them all? You've been caching those 6. What's the deal? Why haven't you done all the counties yet? What's your problem? Come on, Gary, get with it." And I was like, "All right, I better get with it." So,
Gary, that name sounds familiar. It almost sounds like somebody that visited one of our events this week in Colorado.
Oh, really? Oh, that's
right. That same guy, could it?
It's the same guy. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, all the way up here in Colorado. Yeah, they showed up and surprised us at the event. We didn't know they were coming ahead of time. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, and they have found 1,000 counties.
Oh my gosh.
on that trip. They finished up. They got 1,000 counties now, so that's kind of cool.
Knock off 1,000 counties. That's a pretty big number.
That's really cool because I mean, even if you do all of, you do all of Texas, you're 254, so you're not, but 1,000 counties he's done. So that's a cool thing to do, but you kind of want to go for, like you said, things that you're interested in.
Yeah.
But have some goals. I think it's neat to do that because, it makes it, like you said, it adds another wrinkle to the whole sport is to have these various, and make it, like you mentioned earlier, Emily, you want to make it something that actually jazzes you, that really gives you, that you really want to be,
you're just going to trudge through it if not.
Yeah.
And those blank map spaces are what does it for me. I got one county last September, and that one county in Oregon. That was great,
Right.
It's a pretty small thing to do, but it's part of my goal, so it was great.
Yeah.
And then also in filling in map stuff, I want to do an Eastern Canada cruise.
Oh, cool.
So fill in Eastern provinces.
Oh, Eastern. Yeah. Like Nova Scotia, the Eastern Canada.
Exactly.
Yeah. That would be really cool.
Somebody in the chat room suggested, since you've done 51, maybe add the territories, the U.S. territories, to your list next.
Yeah. I have Puerto Rico.
She has Puerto Rico.
You're working on that then.
She's on her way.
Yeah.
But yeah, some people it's Jasmer. People are. I mean, what? Jesse's got double Jasmer out there looming. I mean, how many do you have left to do double Jasmer?
I'd have to look, but it's within striking distance. It's less than a dozen. So.
And you got Georgia's on that list, right?
Yes, but I don't think I'll get it on this trip.
Maybe I'll make the trip out.
It gets closed down during the week of the mega.
Oh, darn it. Yeah, I forgot about that.
For that one, I didn't know it was taken away for the week.
Yeah, that's a bummer. But you know what? We'll go back. That's okay. Yeah. That weekend is about going caching. I'm looking forward to that mega so much that I won't be able to get all the stuff done I want to do anyway. So.
Yeah. And I combined, especially with the Four Corners trip, I combined Jasmer with the trip, So I was working on multiple goals, multiple challenges.
Always. There's always multiple goals, right?
Yeah.
That's a great
idea. Get Mississippi's oldest and Alabama's oldest on this upcoming trip.
Oh, yeah. That's cool. No, or fizzy. Some people love fizzy loops. I mean, people are, love doing the loops of that. Counties is always cool. I mean, there are a lot of different ones, different items that you can kind of focus on, and I think it's cool.
Do you have any suggestions? We have somebody's going to Puerto Rico in November. Any caches you suggest down there from your trip?
I only got 3 down there. One was pretty awesome because I was on the beach. I did not have my GPS. I just had read about it, and I used my instincts, and I found it. So it was at a blowhole. So that was awesome, but it's not there anymore. So I check out the map. Favorite points. Favorite points is how that's another main direction how I plan my trips.
Yeah.
Terraviators mentions about plenty of cool earth caches between Homa and Rome, Georgia. So that's really cool. Yeah. Planning. Did you use anything particular that you think people should try to use for planning?
The times on using Cache Tour or anything. So I am still just a pocket query, study the maps, write my notes kind of person.
Yeah.
I'll get there.
Yeah.
Everybody has their own system though, right? I mean, you do what makes you happy, how you feel comfortable with it. And the good thing is there's tons of tools out. There's more and more tools out there every day now, but there's options for everybody.
Yep.
Neil, I wanted to ask if you've completed a coast-to-coast county challenge or thought about doing one like that. Were you similar to Super Nate, where he basically connected across the whole country, a county in every, it connected a line basically from, East Coast to West Coast kind of thing.
I'm looking at my counties map right now. I am far from that being possible. I get to about northern Utah, and then really trails off.
Well, that's pretty good though. You're from Oregon?
Yeah, the coast to northern Utah. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's cool. That's a start.
It's a start, right?
If that interests you at some point,
Yeah, my parents are listening and probably going, great.
Yeah,
great.
Yeah. Yeah. C3 mentioned about getting the oldest in Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi on the way to Geo Woodstock. Yeah, those are always cool. Getting the oldest in every state is also kind of a cool thing to do. And what's interesting about those, at least for us, is as I started to think about all the ones that I have found in different states, they've all been memorable. I took Jesse out to Tombstone for for the Texas one. We found the one in Missouri. Terry All is a lot of fun. We did that when we were up for a 14er. Yep. And Ohio's oldest, which there's some controversy over Ohio's oldest, but one of Ohio's oldest.
I did one of Ohio's oldest. Yes.
One of Ohio's oldest. Yeah. Was just a lot of fun because I got to do it with Chris Williamson, the producer of the director of Treasure. So there are some really good memories of doing the oldest. So that's kind of a cool thing. If people are interested, people are wondering, what is it they can do? That one is a cool one to do. Seaback Tribe mentions about there's an I-5 county challenge from Washington to California.
That's cool.
Wow.
Interesting. That's out your direction, Emily. To kind of do that.
It is.
So that's kind of a neat item.
And to put on the list, the to-do list.
Put it down. That's kind of cool. Yeah. So Neil mentions he found both of Ohio's. It was smart because
now he doesn't have controversy.
one or the other. Yeah. So those are cool. Geotours is a cool thing. I know you did the donut tour. We've always enjoyed
a Bigfoot tour up in northern Oregon. Yeah. No, I'm sorry, southern Washington.
Southern Washington.
Columbia. Yeah.
Right. The Triad. I mean, people always come up with things. Mingo is always a cool trek.
Alaska was your final one, and that was probably out of convenience as far as like Alaska is the hardest to get to. If you got to just totally choose, and you're back to 30, and you're not 50 yet, would you have picked Alaska as your final, or would you have picked a different state, or did it really matter whatever you can get to, you get to?
Remembering how I felt, I wanted to get to Alaska as soon as I could. Because when I moved out here, my thought was, you are now so much closer than you've ever been. Get to Alaska. And so if we're talking several years ago, I wouldn't have waited.
Yeah.
It was just my desire to get there.
That's a pretty cool way to end it, is Alaska. Even though it just happened to be that way for you, that's a pretty cool way to end it. Alaska is pretty epic.
Alaska is so epic. The cruise is so epic. Yeah, like I said, I could have just flown to Anchorage, but that cruise was amazing. I think anyone you talk to who's done an Alaskan cruise will say it.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's pretty high up on our list of how to finish it for us, which it'll probably be a couple years for us, but it would be to get to Alaska and do a cruise to get, really enjoy that whole experience.
Right. And then we did a land tour for, interior, and that was a great thing to tack on to the end too. We saw Denali, which is, I think they call it the 30% club if you've actually seen Denali while you're there.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're starting to wrap up tonight. And Jess, you kind of brought us right into those good questions. So, I guess what we'll do, I'll make some final comments and then I'll throw it to Jesse and Emily. We're going to let you wrap up our discussion tonight. Kind of just reiterate what I've said, which is, I think that this is finding one in every state. I think really should be on everybody's list. Although we've sort of said tonight that you really want to do whatever's best for you. But if you're really looking for a suggestion, finding one in every state, I think is something really is fun to do for everyone because again, you get to see and also finding every going to every and finding a cache in every county in your state, whatever your state is.
Yeah, even the whole country is so diverse, as is every state. Yeah,
absolutely. I think that's why I think it's important. I think a lot of people who, if you can, obviously there's some financial things you got to work through.
Yeah, I had to take years to do this.
Right.
I'm a regular person who had to take vacation time to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's something that again, you don't have to do all 50, at the same time or all 48. Although Jesse and I have a suggestion about all 48 we might do someday. You can do all 48 in one trip.
It is possible.
It's possible, and we're planning on someday doing that. But anyway,
leaderboard took over the planning for that one. We're in the leaderboard right now, but that is in the future of a potential possibility.
Yeah. So people are mentioning. Good job, Emily Rene, Stephen Wilcox mentioned. But yeah, so I'm just saying, put it on your list, or but also come up with a plan. Come up with somewhat of a plan. Take them in pieces. Make a trip if you're going caching. Which you really should do. Grab a state. Grab all the states as you go down, and when we were in Florida, a little planning, and we popped up to Georgia and grabbed Georgia on a quick trip. There's kind of those little kind of things you can kind of utilize where you are to kind of grab some states. Jesse's got knows of some people who have 4 virtuals in the four corners, so you could give 4 states right there in one.
That's right.
One trip. So Jesse, what are some of your final thoughts?
So again, I think for anybody that has the ability to do it, this is one of those great goals. And if you like to travel, if traveling is the part of geocaching that you like, which it is for us, we love it, and we haven't put it on our short list as far as that's our main goal for doing yet, but it is absolutely one of our top goals is to get all 50 states. And we don't have a huge time crunch, but we want to get it done in the next 6 years because that's when our youngest would graduate, and we're trying to take her to as many states as we can. And geocaching is a good way to do it because, when we all go to that stat page, not that we do that constantly, right? But you look at it and you're like, yeah, I've got that state, and I remember that was a good experience, and I've got that state, and that was fun. That's what we did there, and that was that trip. And you generally have pictures of it too because, you take pictures when you go caching. So you got that's a really neat thing to do. And so I guess I would leave it with go for it if you can, if it's part of your thing, and you don't have to do it in 2 weeks. This is something to do for the rest of your life. You can take the rest of your life doing it. But I guess a 2-part question for Emily would be, one, is this kind of a silly question, but is this your favorite accomplishment in geocaching? And 2, because it probably is, does anything else kind of come close to this in geocaching for you?
Yes, it is my favorite accomplishment. And I think it's because of the hard work behind it. I made it happen. I set a goal, and then I made these trips that meant so much to me. The memories, the pictures. I can tell you what we did in New Orleans and Savannah those days, right. And I can tell you what caches we did because they were just that memorable. I've done the Jasmer, I've done the Fizzy. They all felt good to accomplish, and there's still more. Like, I could do double Jasmer, and I'm close to double Fizzy. But yeah, the States is definitely where it was at for me. Very happy that I've done it, and it gives me more things I know I want to do again.
That's very cool.
Yeah,
it is a huge accomplishment.
Yeah.
Yep. So, so Emily, what are some of your final thoughts as we wrap up tonight?
One step at a time. If this is what you want to do, that's what it was for me. One step at a time. And like I said, my plans were always changing. I was flexible with which mega dictated which trip I was going to.
Right.
And if you want to take that all 48 states in a single road trip, do it. If you want to really enjoy yourself along the way, do it. That's what's amazing about geocaching. It is what we want it to be.
Yeah, you're right.
Very well said.
Yeah.
Yep. Very cool. All right. Well, hopefully everybody enjoyed the show tonight. I want to mention about in the next few weeks. Next week, show 162, we're going to do the great geocaching top 12 list of geocache types. You say 12? We will let you know we're going to talk about 12. It includes things like challenge caches and all the normal cache types, but we've also included some. So
we'll do the real list and then Gary's opinion.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna break down all of them.
Number 12.
And work our way down the list.
You're so happy with those little toys that you got.
I do, man. I've got them. I'm very excited about these. My 12 little things I've created for this thing. But anyway, videos or whatever you want to call them. And then, ironically, in 2 weeks, we're talking about Geocoin Fest 2019. So good setup for us, Emily, for that. Joni will be on again. We'll talk about Coin Fest. We'll also talk about the Homa. There's 2 geo tours for Homa. And so we'll talk about those because those are really cool geo tours. So you can do sort of the trifecta of geo tours plus Geocoin Fest 2019, which is coming up soon. Actually, it's right the week before going caching, so it's perfect timing wise. And then we're going to do something a little odd, I guess. A little odd 9-1. We're going to talk about how geocaching changed our lives. Me and Jesse. We're using a talk about Ikigai, not Ikigai. That's Jesse.
Had to do it, didn't you?
I had to set up for that, but it was Ikigai. If you want to read about Ikigai, interesting. We're going to use a little bit of the format of that to talk about geocaching. So that'll be fun. That's in 3 weeks. We're going to talk about that. So anyway, looking forward to that. And we are going to do our wrap up, and we'll see you guys on the other side of this little video.
Folks, we hope you've enjoyed the show tonight, as well as our new format. Please email us your comment at geocachetalk@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. The show can be found on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Radio Public, or Spotify, as well as at the Geocache Talk website. Don't forget to click that subscribe button below and ring that bell notification so that you can see and hear the show on a weekly basis. And tell your friends about the show. Get them involved with us in the chat room. And until next week, don't just talk about geocaching, go geocaching.
There we go. All right. Good night, everybody.
Bye.